Welcome to The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko, the show that brings you man-on-the-street interviews, celebrity guests, groundbreaking research, and heartwarming stories about the reasons we smile. Our show is also known as everything you've always wanted to know about dentistry, but were too numb to ask. Hello, I'm General Dentist Dr. Kvitko, and thank you for joining me today.
The following views and opinions do not necessarily reflect those of this station, its staff, management, or parent company. To hear a replay of this show or one of the great shows that previously aired, log on to thereasonswesmile.com or iTunes, keyword Dr. Kvitko or The Reasons We Smile. Listeners should not use Dr. Kvitko's comments and advice in place of an actual dental exam.
Brighten your life with a smile that shows the professional touch of Dr. Kvitko.
Time now for The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko. Call 459-9769 to discuss your dental issues. Now, here's your host, Dr. Kvitko.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Reasons We Smile. I'm Dr. Kvitko. This is episode number 558. The title of today's show is Tales from the Land Down Under Your Nose. All right. Anyway, before we get started, let me remind you, if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, it's at Dr. Kvitko, and if you'd please go to my office Facebook page and like us, that would be awesome. All past episodes, complete with video, are available at thereasonswesmile.com, and we're not streaming live on Facebook because I couldn't get it in time. Okay. But you will be able to watch the show later, maybe Monday or Tuesday, by going to thereasonswesmile.com. All right, now, today, like I said, it's Tales from the Land Down Under Your Nose. And what it is some things that happened the last week or two that I thought were interesting. Okay, and this will be educational for those of you that might be going through the same thing. All right, so we had a gentleman that came in, and we placed 3 implants for him. We did bone grafting because he had very thin bone. We made him a temporary partial, and we tried to get it all done before his vacation. He was going on a 3 or 4 week trip in his motorhome. Not a motorhome, I'm sorry. Pulling a big, long travel trailer. That's right, camper. Okay, so everything was cool. He came in, had him come in a couple times for his post-ops just to make sure everything was comfortable. And so we send him off, and about 3 days later, I get a call. And he's in Portland, Maine now, and he's having soreness on a tooth, lower right, just behind the cuspid. Well, we'd done a root canal on the cuspid tooth, so my first thought is we're thinking about the fact that maybe that's the tooth that's sore. I hope not, because it wasn't when he left. But he took his little partial out that we made him, where it replaces 4 or 5 front teeth that we had to extract. And we're going to be doing an implant-supported bridge later, as I mentioned. But anyway, his tooth is sore, and I get on my computer, I look at, and I see that we didn't do anything to that tooth. And I'm like, well, okay, so what could be causing that? I made sure he was sure, and he was. And so it turns out that the little partial, which had a clasp, a little metal wire bent to help hold it in, was crossing over the bite, putting pressure on that very good tooth and making it sore. So what we did was we found a pharmacy in Portland, Maine. We found a pharmacy that we would be able to go ahead and fax over non-narcotic medication, like an anti-inflammatory, and I even did an antibiotic just to make sure. But I still felt he needed some pain medicine. So what we did is we got the address of the campground. We went to the post office, and we sent a prescription that I wrote to him at the campground. He was going to be there till Friday. We made sure that he got it on Thursday. And he actually called us on Wednesday before the prescription even arrived to say how much better he felt from the first 2 that we gave him, and thanked us so much for all of our help and trying to help save his vacation. So that's one of the tales, and I think that the moral there, if you will, is that it's not always what you think. So, I mean, he had extractions, he had implants, he had a root canal, he had a crown, and those were none of the reasons that they weren't causing the problem. The problem was the little temporary partial he had was biting funny and putting pressure on that tooth. All right, so we're happy that had a great ending. Now, this next one is a woman, and she works in a hospital in an oncology section where they deal with, I think, primarily breast cancer. And so when I did an exam and I told her that you have this white patch over here on your left cheek, back by your left last tooth, and it's a big broad area, probably about I don't know, maybe a ½ inch by a ¼ inch, which in the mouth is pretty big. And I said, I want to find out what that is, because it doesn't rub off, and if it rubs off, it's candidiasis or a yeast infection, but I'm sorry, fungal infection, but it doesn't. It didn't wipe off. Now that made her nervous. She kind of had a little teary-eyed response. Do I think she has cancer? And I said, no, but I don't know what it is, so I want to know what it is just to be safe. I don't want to assume that everything's fine just in case it isn't. So she consented, and we did an incisional biopsy where we just took part of it, part of the lesion, and sent that off to the lab to be evaluated. And what was interesting is it came back saying that there was some change in the cell makeup, in the cell arrangement. There were some irregular cells, nothing too scary. And so what they said is they can't rule out the fact that this could be a pre-neoplastic lesion, so a lesion that could lead to a cancer. And she doesn't have it now, but they wanted us to continue to monitor it. And like I said, she works in a hospital setting in the oncology area, you know. So then she told me that she wrote a song about Tommy the tumor. She made this up. And so the quality of the audio is probably not great because I didn't anticipate that I would be airing it on the radio, but I thought it would be fun. So go ahead and listen to this song by my patient.
Tommy the tumor is a sneaky, peeky feller. He's running here and there all over your bear. Ah! Saying, catch me if you can. Tommy the tumor is a sneaky, stinky feller. P.U. But he don't give a darn doodly about negative feedback loops, and for that we call him an OMA. But there must have been some magic in that chemo and radiation we've done, 'cause after a few rounds of chemo and radiation, Tommy tumor's nowhere to be found. Tommy the tumor had to hurry on his way. He wouldn't say bye-bye, 'cause he's gonna try to sneak you back again someday. Dumpity-dump, dumpity-dumpity-dump-dump, look at Tommy go. Dumpity-dump, dumpity-dumpity-dump-dump, over your spleen and nose.
Over your spleen and nose?
That's right, because he's inside outside, right? Inside outside, all you ever know.
That's cute. Now, what was the other saying you said?
Oh,
What was it?
Tommy the tumor doesn't care about the label in your underwear. He only cares how he stinks.
Or he stinks.
He stinks, that's right. Because he doesn't care whether you're rich or poor, young or old, or how good or how bad you've been.
Isn't that cute? I thought that was cute. She has a pretty good attitude about it, and it's right. So these are the kinds of things that, you know, on a day-to-day basis that we run into in the dental office, and I always try. It's always this, I don't know, this dichotomy of trying to assure the patient that everything's fine, and yet telling them I'm not sure and I want to make sure, and of course that makes people nervous. So I had another woman that we did a biopsy of 3 different sites. They all concerned her. One was a nodule on her inside of her lower right lip. One was what turned out to be a bony prominence on the lower right jaw, outside of the lower right jaw. And another was a similar area to this woman, in the lower left last tooth, a white patch. Now, we do know that in this woman, that the white patch is in an area where she chews gum all the time. And so when she's talking to a patient, she takes and sticks it with her tongue back in that corner. So it's possible that it's environmental, and we've suggested to her that she either stop chewing gum or she put it somewhere else in her mouth and give this place a rest, and that maybe it'll go away. So we will see. Okay, another tale from the land down under your nose is this woman that I hadn't met her yet because she was a patient of a recently retired dentist. Her dentist retired, and she called, and she had a tooth that had broken. So she was looking to make an appointment. And in trying to anticipate how much time I was going to need for her, I asked her a lot of questions. So I asked her questions like, well, if you look at the crown, is it hollow or is there stuff in it? What that would tell me is if the tooth and the filling are stuck in the crown, that means they broke off. Now, if the crown just came off, the crown would be hollow, right? So no, the crown was full of stuff. So now I know that her tooth broke off. Wasn't just a lost crown. And then the next question, I said, well, do you know if that tooth has had a root canal? Why do I ask that? I ask it because I want to know if there's going to be sensitivity between now and when I get her in. Because if there's not going to be sensitivity, then there's probably not a huge rush to try to squeeze her in the first thing in the morning when someone else already has that spot. It could probably happen in the next day or 2 or 3. Okay. So she said, well, I think almost all of my teeth have had root canals. And of course I hear the word almost, which means that maybe not this one. But then she said, well, no, I think all of my teeth. Well, and I think I've had a couple natural root canals, she said. And I said, what's a natural root canal? She goes, oh, you know, where the body just resorbs it on its own. There's no such thing, folks. That's why there is no such thing as a, quote, natural root canal. Okay? And then she went on to say, well, and I think I've had a natural extraction or 2 as well. Now, I'm not letting on at this point. I've not met her yet. I don't want to upset her in any way, but I'm not letting on that I don't have, there's no credence to what she's saying, and I know that, and I don't want her to think that I'm questioning her. But so I said, so what's a natural extraction? She goes, oh, you know, where it just kind of fades away in the body, and body resorbs it. The body cannot resorb a tooth. It doesn't. It can't happen, won't happen, has never happened, never will happen. There is no such thing as a natural extraction. Just telling you, folks. Okay, for any of you, and maybe if that woman is listening, she's going to know now, right? So, and the reason, and so here's an interesting thing too. We made her an appointment for that very first thing, right? Get her in. So she called like the day before and canceled the appointment. She said she found a local dentist who could take care of her. Well, I'm a local dentist, but for some reason, anyway, I swear I did not let on that I didn't believe her about natural root canals and extractions, but I don't have anything more to report because I've never met her, and maybe it's just as well. This might be one where it's maybe I would not have been able to convince her that her thought process was flawed, so why try, right? Okay, so now, okay, looks like it's time to do Dr. Kvitko's question of the day. And you may remember that we always try to make the questions easy. If you've been listening at all, you're going to know the answer. And tell you what, so you need to remember the gentleman in Portland, Maine, who had pain from his temporary partial. The woman with the biopsy that we're still going to watch, and then the woman that talked about natural root canals and natural extractions. Okay, so it looks like it's time to do Dr. Kvitko's question of the day. Before we do, let me give you the phone number, 614-459-9769, 614-459-9769. Don't call yet, because we haven't given you the question, but I just thought you could pre-program your phone. Okay, before we do the contest, we'd like you to listen to this.
This station will not be held liable for any contesting during The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko. Participation in the contest allows Dr. Kvitko to record and broadcast your name and call. 1 winner per household. Prizes are non-transferable, cannot be substituted, and are subject to taxes and fees. This station cannot be responsible for the inability to enter the contest, whether due to equipment malfunction or telephone difficulties. All decisions of Dr. Kvitko concerning this contest or eligibility are final.
And now it's time for Dr. Kvitko's question of the day.
All right, and today we're bringing you tales from the land down under your nose. What are some of those tales that we've mentioned so far? Is it A, my staff and I having to mail a pain prescription to a patient on vacation at a campground? B, doing an incisional biopsy and discussing the results with the patient who sang us a song about tumors? C, a discussion with the patient of a recently retired dentist who had what she called natural extractions and natural root canals? Or D, oh, by the way, there's no such thing. Or D, all of the above. All right, the winner's going to receive free flowers from DeSantis Florist, delivered to your place of business this Tuesday afternoon. The number to call is 614-459-9769. That's 614-459-9769. So go ahead and call now.
You won't believe it though. I wanna hear your mind, and there's nothing else in the world tonight. She said people don't take the time. Hey, people don't take the time.
Hi, I'm Keith Carlos, winner of America's Next Top Model and star of Chocolate City 2. Look for my smile on the big screen this summer, courtesy of Dr. Kvitko. Stay tuned to The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko, the world's most interesting dentist.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kvitko, general dentist and host of the Reasons We Smile radio and roadshow. Did you know that you no longer need to visit several different dental professionals to get more complete dental care? We handle everything from cleanings and orthodontics to restoration, implants, and smile makeovers, all in my office. And now we have 2 locations. Get the most advanced technology and procedures available today. It's more complete dentistry.
Visit worldsmostinterestingdentist.com for more info about Dr. Kvitko.
Dr. Kvitko, let's go!
Hi, this is Richard Simmons. Dr. Kvitko's here, and he's going to help you with all of your problems. Are your teeth yellow? He can fix that. Are you missing a tooth? He can put a new one in. How is that?
That's very good. Thank you, Richard. All right, we're back. We're doing Dr. Kvitko's question of the day. We have on the phone with us DJ. Hey, DJ, what's the answer to Dr. Kvitko's question of the day? Hello?
Hello, it's B.
Hey, how are you? Oh, it's
Good, sir. How are you?
It's D? Did you say D?
I said B.
Oh, he said B?
Yeah.
Oh, you said D the first time, I thought. Anyway, we'll tell you what. We're going to give you the flowers anyway because my producer thought you had the right answer. Right answer is D, which is all of the above. All of those stories were true. So, hey, stay on. DJ, what do you do for a living?
I'm a policeman.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Well, thanks for what you do.
Thank you, sir.
Much appreciated. So go ahead and stay on the line. We're going to get the information where to send those flowers. All right, DJ?
All righty, thank you.
Thank you. All right, if you're just joining us, I'm Dr. Kvitko. This is The Reasons We Smile. It is episode number 558. Today we are bringing you tales from the land down under your nose. All right, and so another tale would be this gentleman, and he came in just the other day, might have been even Friday. So in the past, he'd had a root canal and a crown on a tooth, top left molar. By the way, when I say molar, we're almost always talking about a person's 6-year molar, the one you've had since you were 6. The reason? Those teeth sneak in behind the baby teeth, and people have them long before their parents ever realize there are adult teeth in there. So little kids are still eating junk, and parents maybe aren't making sure they brush as well as they should. And before you know it, these are the ones with the cavities and the big fillings and the bigger fillings and the root canals and the crowns and so on, and sometimes even extracted. Okay, so in his case, this tooth was loose. And we knew from the x-ray what had happened. What had happened was his tooth broke, the root, right? There are 3 roots. And what happened was the crown attached to 2 roots broke away from the 3rd root. So we're going to have to extract that tooth. I don't know why it broke, other than the fact that root canal teeth can get brittle over time, but he must have had to crunch down on something pretty hard, maybe accidentally. I didn't really query him because I didn't think it really mattered at that moment. His tooth was broken anyway. And so we're going to have to take it out. We'll most likely do an implant. We'll take it out, pack some bone, place an implant, and then once the implant has osseointegrated, we will put a crown there. But I guess the moral of this tale is just because you've taken care of your teeth and you've gotten the root canal and you've gotten the crown, doesn't always mean you're going to get to keep the tooth for a lifetime, but it sure is a better chance of having that happen than obviously having it extracted way back when. Okay, another one is this gentleman. He's in his 80s. He came in. He had developed a couple good-sized cavities, one on the lower left front tooth. Lower left cuspid. The other one on the lower right cuspid. Now, wears a partial, so those teeth are important. They hold his partial in. And so, let's see. This was a filling that was just done. It was done as just a regular tooth-colored filling. When somebody's 87, the canals in their teeth are much, much smaller and harder to spot. And so when the filling was done, it was done by one of my associates, there was no evidence that there was anything awry. Everything looked fine. But about, was it 2 days later? No, it was a day later, he called and he says the tooth was very sore. And it turns out that the cavity had gone into the nerve, but there was no pulp chamber, just a pulp canal, some tiny little dot that went undetected. And so he wound up needing a root canal. Now here's a guy that didn't even know he had a cavity, and it turns out it was already into his nerve center. So anyway, Now, okay, so now we have this guy. There's another one. And he was already missing a number of teeth. This one I find funny. I don't know if he's, sad in a sad way. Don't know if he's listening. If you noticed, I haven't used names. But he came in. He was already missing a number of teeth. Had severe periodontal disease, which we told him about at his last visit, which was a few years back. One tooth was so rotten that only a couple small pieces of the root are left. Maybe he's waiting for natural extraction. I'm not sure. But anyway, has an upper left front tooth that's decayed, and it's so loose it may just fall out on its own. And we can't save the loose tooth because of the severe bone loss. We told him that it needs to be extracted. And that was his front tooth. And I thought, nobody's going to let me extract their front tooth without putting a temporary one in there until the patient decides. And by the way, since he's missing a bunch of other teeth, I said, maybe we should, maybe now would be a time to figure out how to get everything else healthy so we can make you a partial. We can make you a partial. And we could take care of the gum disease, the bone loss. We could get rid of any other decay and make you a partial. So now you'll have a full set of teeth to chew with and smile with. And he said, how did he put it? He goes, yeah, someday I need to do that. Well, he's 56 years old, folks. If not now, when? I mean, things creep up on people, I get it. But I think if you're going to someday do something, you might want to do it while you're at least in your 30s. It'd be nice if you did it in your 20s, but at least 30s. I mean, so it's clear to me he's never going to change. So what we did, I said, well, here's what we'll do. Oh, I said, yeah. He said, someday I need to do that. I needed to get my teeth in order. I missed part of the quote. So, although that sounded like a normal comment, if he's 56, it seems out of line to me. So what I did was I said, I'll tell you what we'll do, because he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to have everything healthy. I said, well, I'll make you a temporary partial. It'll give you the same number of teeth. You won't like it because it's going to cover the roof of your mouth, but at least you'll be able to smile while you're thinking about getting around to getting everything healthy so we can make you a real partial, and that's what we're doing. All right, looks like it's time to go to a break. Again, you're listening to The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko, episode number 558, and we'll be right back.
You can't take me as I am, not just a little bit. I don't know who to be. I'm a paper cup, baby, of the sea. I know you see it too, 'cause you're too much for me.
This is Clark Kellogg. Stay tuned for more of Dr. Kvitko.
Estás escuchando con Dr. Kvitko aquí en su estación favorita.
Hi, I'm Dominique Reichert. Like what you hear? Why not use the show to promote your product or service by becoming a sponsor? Call 614-262-9588 to learn how. That's 614-262-9588. Call now.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kvitko, general dentist and host of the Reasons We Smile radio and roadshow. I've been honored to help several famous people get a perfect smile, like Keith Carlos and Dominique Reigard from America's Next Top Model, and Ted the Golden Voice Williams from right here in Columbus. Isn't it time you had a celebrity smile? It costs less than you might think, and most of the time, it can be done in one visit. A new smile can make a world of difference.
Visit worldsmostinterestingdentist.com for more info about Dr. Kvitko.
I'm Grandpa, and I go to Dr. Kvitko, and I still have all my teeth. Real ones. Where's my glasses?
I'm Dr. Kvitko. This is The Reasons We Smile. It's episode number 558. Title of today's show is Tales from the Land Down Under Your Nose. All right. So I guess I could have reversed that and said the land above your chin. But anyway, so here's another tale from the land down under your nose. This woman came in for what we call a crown buildup, which is taking out all of the old filling and getting rid of the decay, and a crown on one tooth, and a filling on the next tooth, and on a lower tooth, another tooth down below, a root canal and a filling that would go in the hole that we'd have to make in the crown. So we're starting on the one that we knew needed the crown, and while we're there, we have both numbs, so we take out the decay on the one behind it, and I'm cleaning out the decay, and by the way, I can't leave any decay because that's just like leaving rust. It's like you didn't do a thing if you leave any. And so I get all the decay cleaned out, and I see this hole. Now, it's not bleeding, and she is in her 50s. No, she's in, late 50s. And so there is such a thing as the pulp chamber sclerosing. Well, by the way, the hole would typically mean there's an opening into her pulp chamber and she's going to need a root canal. But because she's in her late 50s, I thought, well, maybe this is leftover pulp chamber, potentially, and it wasn't bleeding. Potentially, I could leave it alone and it won't become a toothache later, like the guy that I mentioned earlier. And so then I took a small pointed instrument, like a periodontal probe, and I put it in the hole and I took an x-ray. Sure enough, it goes right into you could just tell it went right into where there was vital pulp tissue of the live nerve, what was left of it. And so now we have to do another root canal and another crown. That was in addition to what she was already there for. It doubled the length of her appointment. It always gives me the willies, if you will, about people wondering if I'm just piling on, bait and switch, trying to get more money out of them. That's always a concern. Why? Because sometimes people make it so. But what I do, and what I did, was I take pictures and I say, do you see this hole here? And she says, yeah. And I said, well, look at this x-ray. I put my instrument in that hole and look where it went. So she was very much on board and understood what was going on there. And we got her blessing to go ahead and finish the treatment and do another root canal and another crown on a tooth that was just supposed to have a filling that day. So this tale is designed to let you know that sometimes things are going on in your mouth that you don't know about. We are doing you a favor by taking care of it on that day, then by waiting until you have that toothache, and then having you have to come back in. And you don't know when the toothache's going to happen. Sometimes it will be instantaneous, and other times it won't. But if you trust your dentist, and I would assume you do or you wouldn't be going there, just give them the benefit of the doubt when they tell you these kinds of things, because it's for your own good. And I guess if you didn't trust and you just went home and let the numbness wear off and it was hurting, well, then you'd trust. You would say, I should have trusted the guy or the gal. Okay, so here's another one, and we probably only have time for this one more, right? Just one more. And I have several others, so we'll probably have to do another version of the show down the road. But this woman, now I've seen her for quite a while. She came to me because she was absolutely terrified of dentistry. Needs to be both orally and intravenously sedated for every appointment. And I'm okay with that. She has weaned herself off the IV, so we were doing oral sedation this day. She had a tooth where the root had split vertically. It was no way of saving this tooth. It did have a crown on it, which, think about that. The crown's already on it to help hold it together, and yet it's still split. So we're talking about either some forces that were harder than maybe they should have been, or whatever. But the tooth had to come out, so she's here for the visit, and she asked, first thing she said is, promise me nothing's going to hurt. I said, I promise. About 5 minutes after extracting her tooth, she looks up at me and she says, am I going to feel pain when you extract my tooth? And I said, your tooth's already out. So I guess the answer is no, which was very cool, very rewarding. All right, that looks like that is all the time we have. So let me just say that if you're, thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Dr. Kvitko, and visit my office Facebook page and like us. It's Dr. Kvitko and Associates. Remember that all past episodes, complete with video, are available at thereasonswesmile.com. Be sure to tune in next week and every week right here on your favorite station. Goodbye.
This is Carly Red from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, the hit show on VH1, urging you to tune in next week with my dentist, Dr. Kvitko.
If you're interested in learning more about this and other dental health topics, go to thereasonswesmile.com to access full episodes of Dr. Kvitko's show.
If you'd like Dr. Kvitko, the world's most interesting dentist, to speak at your next event, please call 614-262-9588. That's 614-262-9588, or send an email to speaking@thereasonswesmile.reasonswesmile.